Most families who really want to leave a legacy don't fail because they don't care enough. They fail because they mistake intention for structure.
They assume having values, maybe a will in place, or a good income is how you set up a legacy. But in reality, a legacy requires much more than just a large income. It requires clarity, alignment, and systems put in place.
So in today's video, we're going to explain why most legacies fail before they even start and what the missing piece really is. So today we're discussing again why legacies tend to fail, and it really isn't because people don't care about leaving a legacy. It's because they don't structure it right, or they think about it, they plan, and they really don't take any action. And one of the reasons for that is because they don't have proper structure in place. When you look at something and you look at a plan, you may have all the pieces. Think of a puzzle. You have all the pieces to a puzzle, but the puzzle isn't complete until you actually start putting things in place and putting them together. So when people look at a legacy, they have to understand that you may have all good intentions of actually building one and putting one in place. But if you don't actually start to have a structure or a system in place on how to put everything together, then you're not really moving anything forward. You're not really putting that legacy into place. You're not starting that legacy. Again, intentionality is great, meaning you're making that decision to start. But if you aren't putting the pieces together and you don't have a structure or a system in place, then it's not really going to gain any traction. So that's really where people need to start looking at it. You can have all the pieces in the world, but unless you actually start putting them in place and having a structure and a system, your legacy may quietly be failing you.
Mm-hmm. Intentions are great, but putting them into action is the way to make them happen. So many people think that they have a legacy in place when they create a will. They think that their values, just by not discussing them, but just living out their own values without having those conversations with their children, that's going to pass on into their legacy. But ultimately, it starts with those conversations. It's not just, definitely your kids are learning by your actions, but those conversations need to be in place to make sure that everyone understands what exactly you're trying to create for the future generations. And all of that is fantastic, but until you bring those intentions into actions, your legacy is not being planned. It's all about the systems that you create and the structure that you create along with those good intentions.
Yeah, I think having those conversations up front and often is really what is needed to get the ball rolling and started. Again, you can have everything in place, but unless you actually are taking those actions maybe on a daily basis, depending on what your values are. Again, if you're not instilling the values, like we said in our previous video, if you're not instilling certain values, the assumption that those values are going to continue to be passed down through the generations just by happenstance or whatnot, isn't really going to happen. They can fade very, very rapidly. So having the conversations often enough with your current generation, with your kids, and making sure that they're, even when they get older, still having the same kind of values and conversations with them even then, really, really will ensure that at least it's going to get to the next generation and then to the next generation. I mean, even in the Bible, it talks about how the generations, they lost their way, right? The Israelites, they lost their way because they didn't keep God in their conversations. They didn't look towards God for everything. They didn't keep the Bible, the scriptures, close to their hearts. And there were many, many generations. I mean, you look at what Chronicles and Kings, over and over again, they lose their way and they come back and then they lose their way again. And we don't want that to happen, right? We want to have the conversations early, often, so that we know that those values and everything are going to be put down. And again, having money, just having money and assuming that it's going to happen and go through the lines and all the way through the generations, you're setting yourself up for failure. So having systems in place, like you mentioned, and having those conversations often, I think are one of the foundations, right, of a system that should be employed.
Yeah, get your kids to be part of your vision. I mean, if they're part of your vision and they really believe in it, it's going to be that much more successful.
So what are the 3 reasons why a legacy plan may fail? Well, we just talked about one of them, right? Failure of communication, right? If you're not communicating what it is that you're wanting to have and build, it's going to fail.
A clear definition of your legacy, people not understanding what the vision is, your children not understanding why you're creating this legacy for the family, and And without knowing, there's no clarification, and you can't possibly expect your family members to become aligned with your vision if you don't share it with them. So clearly defined.
Yeah, and along with that, now that you've defined it, you need a plan.
Right.
So you need an execution plan, you need structure,
Right.
you need an actual plan on how, step by step, let's say, on how and what steps are next and what are we gonna do here, what are we gonna do here. All of that needs to be done. So going back with Corinne said, you wanna have a clear vision, okay, of what the legacy is. You wanna have a clear framework or a plan in place to execute that vision, and then communication very often about what it is you're doing, being intentional with the execution of that plan and communicating it often with your family members.
So why are high income families at risk of failing legacy plans? Ultimately, the success that people feel when they're making good money and there's no struggle and they're never living the paycheck to paycheck, there's abundance there. They don't really think about the legacy because everything's fine. I don't need to plan because I've got the money. I've got the money coming in, I've got the income coming in, so that really should be enough. But it's not just about the income. It's about creating the system of your income coming in, because as fast as your income comes in, your income can go out. So if you don't have a plan, if you're not budgeting with your family and things like that, that can slip away pretty fast. And then that's not going towards the legacy that you have in your mind.
Yeah, and on top of that, usually when you have more income, you're not, like you said, you're not thinking about certain things, or you may be putting things into saying, you know what, I'm just going to throw something into a 401k. I'm not going to really think about it. It's just going to grow and grow and grow. There's also the idea that, more things, just obtaining things, or complexity really, just having more and more stuff adds to complexity. It actually increases the risk of losing clarity, right? So you may be losing your alignment if you increase your complexity, and it rises faster, especially with more money. Like this saying goes, right? More money, more problems. Well, if you don't have a plan in place and you tend to do all of this by yourself, or you're gonna do it on your own, and listen, I make all this money, I know what to do. Yeah. You may be falling into a trap there.
Right, and success, having that money coming in and not having to worry or not feeling that pressure, can delay those conversations that are so important for the legacy framework.
You may be good at making money. That doesn't mean that you're good at keeping the money, saving the money, right? Again, this is all about a person who wants to leave a legacy, right? They want to make sure that they're giving their generations a good step up and continuing that journey with all this that they've been able to produce, and to make sure that it's being paid forward. So it's not that they're not caring, it's that they don't understand what's entailed on making sure that the future generations have it. So doing it yourself, you absolutely can do everything by yourself, but why would you want to struggle with that? In my view, you would want to find someone or something, meaning a system, a structure, that you can follow step by step and have it provided to you. At least you have a leg up then. Now, I'm not saying you don't need to learn. Right? We're not saying you don't need to learn things. You obviously need to continue to grow in your knowledge and make sure that what you are looking at is serving your good. But to have a plan in place is really, really a good idea. And if you're just trying to wing it on your own and saying, I'm very successful here, so I'm going to be successful here, you may be setting yourself up for failure.
Right, and I've also had conversations with people who high income earners, that they have themselves set up with a financial advisor and they think, well, they're handling my money. We never suggest you handing your money, your hard-earned money, over to somebody else for them to manage your future. You need to be right up in there with your financial advisor. They are there to advise. They are there to coach you. They're not there to do it for you. So yes, DIY, all the things, there's a lot to be learned in the process. And I do trust professionals to give you good advice, good professionals to give you good advice. However, I don't think that ever you should hand over your money and say, oh, just make this work for my future. You really should be very involved. And your vision should be the start of that framework.
Right, and we're not giving financial advice here. We're just simply coaching you and giving you what we would do and what our intentions are and what our vision is for ourselves, and to see if that may fit with you. So one thing that we always look at is whomever we're talking about our finances with, are they aligned with our vision? Okay, if they're not aligned with your vision and what it is that you want to do, or at least they don't know how to go about it the way you want to go about it, you might want to find yourself a different advisor. You might want to find yourself a different coach. You might want to find yourself a different counselor.
A mentor that has done the things, it's tried and true, the things that have been done by a coach or a mentor that can lead you and skip over all those mistakes and all those failures that were made along the way, could save you time, could increase that money towards your legacy. It's just finding and investing in a coach or a mentor is worth it. It's just worth it all.
Think about a coach or a mentor who's done the thing you're looking for, and it took them, let's say, 10 years to figure it out and do it. Well, instead of yourself taking 10 years to do the exact same thing, go to that mentor where it could take you a year to do the thing.
Yeah.
Because again, it took them 10 years. They've made the mistakes. Avoid the mistakes. Let them tell you what the mistakes are. Avoid them, and you'll accomplish the goal even faster. So what's the missing piece? Well, we have the legacy generation system. Now, this is a system that is exactly that. It's a framework, it's a structure. It's consisting of 7 different pillars, and each of those pillars are meant to build upon one another to get you into a place where you're going to have that legacy, not only build one, help you actually build a legacy, right? If you're starting from scratch, this system this framework is going to help you. And it's going to start you at the ground zero if that's where you are, and then it's going to ensure that step by step, pillar by pillar, you're building yourself up to having that legacy and ensuring that legacy continues. Remember, we want to be more with a framework and not just simply tools, right? Because you can have all the tools available to you, but unless you know how to put everything together and what to utilize the tools for and have that vision for that legacy, it could all pretty much fall apart or just be out in the ether and not really have any substance or anything to attach itself to.
Right. And one really great thing about our system is also that, we work with people who aren't starting from ground zero. We're working with people who have established themselves, but they don't know what to do next. And the beautiful thing about having the pillars and the system that we have is that we can jump right into whatever pillar you're at. Check all the boxes before, make sure everything is done properly, and you can, no matter where you are in your financial journey or where you are in your vision for your legacy, the pillar system can help. So that's another thing I love about the system.
And again, having a coach and mentor such as ourselves and having the structure in place in the system, it allows you to grow as a leader in your own finances, okay? And having leadership over just assuming that this is the right way to go or assuming that this is the right decision. Having leadership and confidence is so much better. Just to think about the sound mind that you'll have, knowing that you're on a particular path and you're following the steps, and those steps will lead you to success, right? So we've done the pillars, and we see that in our view right now, being completely debt-free, that it's working. So we have this system in place. We have this framework for everyone and for those who want to join in. And like Corinne said, you don't have to start from ground zero. The system is built on these different pillars that can actually meet you where you are, okay? And when we meet you where you are, and each family, each individual is different, and that's what's so great. It's all individualized. One person, one family may be wanting to do some real estate investing. We have a system that can be placed into that. Some people may not. They just simply want to do a W-2, but they have maybe a different tax structure that could be utilized for them. That's perfectly okay. What if someone wants to start a business? Guess what? Our system is built where we can help you with that. So it's perfect because it allows flexibility, but it's structured enough that it can take someone from zero to hero, zero to leadership.
And we all hope to leave a legacy for our families, whether it's financial or anything that applies to legacy, not just financial. And we all have that hope. We want to do that. I hope I leave a great legacy for my kids and all of those things. But, it goes beyond just hope. You have to be intentional. And this system is so good with being intentional in setting up that path. So that's what I really love about it. It turns hope into action, into intention, into getting things done.
Yeah, intentionality over hope. I like that. Yeah. Intentionality over hope.
In closing, legacy begins with clarity.
And remember, simply thinking about legacy isn't the same as building it. Until next time, adios.
Have a great day.